Hi everyone, this is Jessica McDonald, and this is my presentation on increasing global connections and cultural literacy with virtual field trips and Skype. So the first lesson I did for my creating project was virtual field trips. And my thought process behind this was that field trips are a great way for learning, hands-on, and giving kids the chance to see how what they're learning in the classroom applies outside the classroom is an amazing experience. But for safety reasons and financial reasons, and even lack of time, traditional field trips are often not possible. And so virtual field trips allow you many of the benefits of a traditional field trip without having to leave your classroom and without having to spend money, and there's no safety risk involved. In addition, because I teach Spanish, traditionally there is a country project, and we give students the opportunity to research a Spanish speaking country, learn more about a different culture and the language at the same time. However, those have become pretty boring, and students often go on the internet, find a few facts, put it on a poster, and they're done. And so the virtual field trip allows us to take that project to a whole new level. So the overview of my lesson, my idea is that first, students would attend a field trip that I created. This would allow them to see two things simultaneously. A, how the field trip would look and the content they should include, but B, how the technology itself works. I might also then have the students view a second teacher-created field trip, but in small groups as opposed to with the whole class. Then they would choose a specific Spanish-speaking country to research and begin gathering their information. After that, they would actually create their own field trip using Google Tour Builder. And then at the end, they would have the opportunity to share their field trips with other students in the class, possibly even other classes, and then they could also share them with their families at home. So in order to do this, the students need a laptop or a desktop computer. My students all have Google Chromebooks. They also need an internet connection. And then I opted to use Google Tour Builder because it's free, relatively easy to use, and we could get started tomorrow. My students have everything they need already. However, Google Cardboard is something I would be interested in using because the virtual reality component would be included. With Google Tour Builder, it's not virtual reality necessarily. So that is something that if I could get the resources, I would be interested in using in the future. So I'm going to show you Google Tour Builder. This is what the site looks like. There are also tours that other people have made, and there's actually a gallery available to you. So if you were studying 9/11, you could actually go and look at someone else's tour. Those are also available. But for mine, this is an example to Cusco, Peru. And the site is set up similar to Google Slides. So this is almost like if Google Slides combined with Google Maps and Google Earth all into one. So you have your outline on the side. Over here, you can click on your different slides. You have an area to add images here, an area to add writing, and then the map itself. So as I click through, it will move us on the map and then zoom all the way into the street view. And this is where I have hit set up to drop. Once you're on the street, you can move around as you would do in Google Maps or Google Earth. You can also link things in here. So I have this taking me to a different website that shows more information. You can also add still pictures. So even though this particular slide is taking me to the view of the cathedral, and then I can move around the town. I also have a slideshow of still images going up here. Here's another view. And so it shows you where you're going on the map first, but then it drops you right into the street view. If you wanted to, you can leave it on the regular map. And then at the end, you have a share button up here to share the link. Just like other Google tools, you can give people the ability to view, to edit. You can share it to social media or via email. You can also export it and open it in Google Earth. So after I had presented my field trip to the students, then I would show them the website itself and go through the process of how to create a trip from scratch. And so if we build a new trip, and we call this Michigan, here is what it looks like when you start. So you have the opportunity to add photos, to add text. You can change the colors. And we'll start by adding a location. So you start typing and it automatically comes up with ideas. And so if we go to Ann Arbor, it will take us just to the center. We might click on the Michigan Stadium. Now, if I want, I can have the tour just go right here to the map, but I can also zoom in. And by using this little orange guy, we can drop him anywhere there's a blue section. So typically in a road, sometimes also on the blue dots, that will allow you to see photographs that other people have taken. And then if I want my viewer to come in right at this exact point, I can lock this particular view by clicking lock this view. And now anytime someone is going through my presentation, when they arrive at this slide, they will be taken to that exact view. So the basics for my students are to add the locations, to lock particular street views, to add photos of their places, and then to add text as well. Because mine is a Spanish class, they'll be required to type in Spanish. I would also remind students during this about the proper steps for research and citations, because they would be gathering their information from the internet first before putting it into their project. So some of the advantages of virtual field trips: students are learning about the place and simultaneously seeing it. Instead of just Google Images, they can actually go through the town, or they can walk through a museum or walk through an aquarium. The technology allows them to do that, which is absolutely amazing. Google Tour Builder is free, and the field trips can be easily shared. So like I said, I would have them share with each other in the class and then also with their families. They also cultivate an understanding of different cultures. And so I remind my students that knowing how to speak Spanish is great, but if you don't know about the cultures that you're interacting with, where you visit another country and you know the language, but you don't know how the people interact and what their customs are, you're missing a big component. And so we really work to incorporate both of those, and the virtual field trips help us do that. In addition, the students are practicing other real-world skills, like how to navigate in a new place, how to plan a trip, and so that's very useful as well. A few disadvantages. Tour Builder is currently an experiment from Google Earth and is in the beta form. There's also a slight learning curve. There are some students that have some issues